Gunfire erupted, the air filled with the acrid scent of gunpowder. Kavran and his team, the Sky Guardians, sprinted through the labyrinthine corridors of Rohan's hideout. Their escape was a desperate scramble against time. Rohan's henchmen were relentless, their bullets whizzing past the team's heads with deadly accuracy.
We have to get out, and we have to get out now.
The hallway seemed to stretch on forever. Each corner they turned was met with a fresh wave of gunfire. Walls crumbled around them, dust choking the air. The team pressed on, their training kicking in as they returned fire with precision.
I've got you covered, Kavran!
Maya, the team's sharpshooter, took down enemies with deadly accuracy. Her modified sniper rifle barked with each shot, echoing through the vast complex. Liam, the tech genius, provided cover fire with his custom-built energy pistol. The weapon emitted a high-pitched whine as it discharged bolts of concentrated energy. Each shot sent a shockwave through the air, momentarily stunning their pursuers.
Keep moving, everyone!
Aisha, the team's infiltration expert, moved like a phantom. She darted between shadows, disarming traps and taking down enemies with her twin daggers before they even knew she was there. The exit was close now, a glimmer of light at the end of a seemingly endless tunnel. But as they surged forward, a figure emerged from the shadows, blocking their path. Rohan. His eyes burned with an icy fury, a cruel smirk playing on his lips.
Leaving so soon? The fun's just beginning.
The air crackled with tension. Kavran locked eyes with Rohan, a silent challenge passing between them. The rest of the Sky Guardians fanned out, weapons trained on Rohan and his remaining men. The narrow corridor became a battleground as the two leaders circled each other. They moved with a grace that belied their deadly intent.
Let's see what you've got, Kavran.
Rohan struck first, a swift punch aimed at Kavran's jaw. Kavran anticipated the move, deflecting the blow with a swift parry. Their fists met in a flurry of blows, the sound echoing like thunder in the confined space. Years of training and honed instincts turned the fight into a deadly dance. Each man fought with the ferocity of a cornered animal.
You can't win this!
Kavran landed a solid kick to Rohan's ribs, eliciting a grunt of pain. But Rohan was undeterred. He retaliated with a vicious roundhouse kick that Kavran barely dodged. The force of the blow would have shattered bone. Kavran, realizing he couldn't win in a straight fight, used his agility to his advantage. He ducked and weaved, exploiting Rohan's size to land a series of quick jabs. Rohan, enraged, roared in frustration. He lunged at Kavran, attempting to grapple him to the ground. Kavran anticipated this, using Rohan's momentum against him. With a swift maneuver, he flipped Rohan over his shoulder, sending the larger man crashing to the ground with a sickening thud. While Kavran kept Rohan occupied, the rest of the Sky Guardians were locked in a fierce battle with Rohan's remaining henchmen. The air filled with the whine of energy weapons and the clatter of bullets ricocheting off the metal walls. Liam, ever the resourceful one, deployed a series of miniature drones from his backpack. These weren't your average drones. They were equipped with EMP emitters, capable of frying the circuitry of enemy weapons. The drones zipped through the air, small but deadly, targeting the henchmen's guns with pinpoint accuracy. One by one, the weapons sputtered and died, leaving Rohan's men vulnerable.
Nice work, Liam.
Aisha, a whirlwind of motion, used the distraction to her advantage. She disarmed one henchman with a swift kick, sending his gun flying. She then used her grappling hook to swing across the room, delivering a flying knee to another opponent's chest. Maya, perched on a gantry above the fight, provided cover fire with her sniper rifle. She moved with a calmness that belied the chaos around her, her shots finding their marks with deadly precision. With each fallen enemy, the tide of the battle shifted in the Sky Guardians' favor. They were outnumbered but not outmatched. Their teamwork and their mastery of technology gave them the edge.
We're turning the tide!
As the last of Rohan's men fell, Kavran, sensing an opportunity, delivered a final blow to Rohan, knocking him unconscious. He stood over his fallen enemy, chest heaving, the adrenaline still coursing through his veins. But there was no time for celebration. Not yet. They had a plane to catch. They sprinted towards their stolen aircraft, a sleek black aircraft hidden in a nearby hangar. Liam had managed to hack into the hangar's security system, disabling the automated defenses. As they reached the plane, Kavran noticed something strange. There was a large cylindrical device attached to the underbelly of the aircraft. It hadn't been there before.
Liam, what is that?
Liam took one look at the device and his blood ran cold.
It's a modified cruise missile, and it's armed.
A cold dread settled in Kavran's stomach. He understood the implications immediately. Rohan hadn't planned on escaping. He'd planned on using them. The hijacked plane, rigged with a missile, was his weapon, and they were the delivery system.
But why? Why go through all this trouble just to...
Before she could finish her sentence, Kavran's communicator crackled to life. It was a news report, the panicked voice of a reporter filling the hangar.
Reports coming in of a massive energy surge detected at the heart of the city. Authorities are baffled, but some experts believe it could be...
Kavran didn't need to hear any more. He knew exactly what Rohan was planning, and he knew they had to stop him. He's going to use the energy surge to create a chain reaction, Kavran said, his voice grim.
He's going to level the entire city.
The weight of his words hung heavy in the air. The Sky Guardians were used to facing danger, but this was on a whole other level. This was about saving millions of lives. Their lives were insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
We have to disarm the missile, Maya said, her voice firm despite the tremor in her hands.
It's too late for that, Liam said, shaking his head. The detonation sequence is too far along. We won't be able to stop it in time. Despair threatened to engulf them, but Kavran wouldn't allow it. He was their leader, and they needed him now more than ever. Then we changed the target, he said, his voice ringing with determination. Change the target, Aisha asked, her brow furrowed in confusion. But how? Liam, can you reprogram the missile's guidance system? Kavran asked, his eyes boring into the tech genius. Liam hesitated, his mind racing. I can try, he said, his voice uncertain. But it'll be tricky. The missile systems are heavily encrypted. Tricky is not impossible, Kavran said, his voice firm. We need to buy Liam some time. Maya, you're with me. We'll create a diversion. They didn't have a choice. They had to trust each other. They had to trust that they could pull this off. The fate of the city rested on their shoulders. Kavran and Maya took to the skies in their customized fighter jets. Their sleek black aircraft sliced through the air, leaving trails of fire in their wake. They were heading towards the heart of the city, towards the source of the energy surge. Their mission: distract Rohan's remaining forces, draw their attention away from Liam, who was working frantically inside the plane to reprogram the missile. The city was in chaos. Buildings burned, sirens wailed, and panicked citizens ran for their lives. But amidst the chaos, Kavran felt a strange sense of calm. He had accepted his fate. He knew that this might be their last stand. Explosions lit up the sky as they engaged Rohan's aerial forces. Laser beams crisscrossed the air, painting deadly patterns in the twilight sky. Rohan's pilots were good, but they were no match for the combined might of Kavran and Maya. Their aircraft were outfitted with the latest technology, making them faster, more maneuverable, and deadlier than anything Rohan could throw at them. One by one, they picked off enemy fighters, their missiles finding their marks with deadly accuracy. But with each victory, they knew that time was running out. The missile was moments away from reaching its target, and Liam was still working on reprogramming it. Inside the hijacked aircraft, Liam's fingers flew across the keyboard, his eyes glued to the screen. Code scrolled past at a dizzying pace, green lines of text representing his only hope of averting disaster. The missile systems were complex, designed to resist even the most sophisticated hacking attempts. But Liam was no ordinary hacker. He was a prodigy, a master of his craft. Sweat dripped from his brow as he bypassed one firewall after another, delving deeper into the missile's core programming. The pressure was immense. He could feel the vibrations of the plane as it soared through the air, the knowledge that a city teetered on the brink of annihilation, lending urgency to his every keystroke.
Impressive, the voice drawled, smooth and dangerous, but ultimately futile.
Liam whirled around, heart-pounding, to find a figure emerging from the darkness. The newcomer was tall and imposing, his features obscured by the shadows and a long flowing coat. The man's eyes glowed with an eerie, otherworldly light, sending a shiver down Liam's spine.
Who are you? Liam demanded, his voice trembling slightly despite his best efforts to appear brave. What do you want?
The figure chuckled, a low, menacing sound that seemed to reverberate through the plane's metal frame. You can call me Harbinger, he said, his voice laced with an almost theatrical flourish. And what I want is to ensure chaos reigns supreme. Rohan is a pawn, a useful idiot, nothing more. His petty ambitions amused me for a time, but now it's time for something more, something grander.
He gestured towards the screen where the missile's countdown clock ticked down with agonizing slowness.
This city will be the first domino to fall, the catalyst for a chain reaction that will reshape the world in my image.
Liam's blood ran cold. This was bigger than Rohan, bigger than the Sky Guardians, bigger than anything he could have imagined. This was about global domination, about plunging the world into chaos and darkness. And he was standing in the path of a force he couldn't begin to comprehend.
You'll never get away with this. The Sky Guardians will stop you.
Harbinger threw back his head and laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the cargo hold.
The Sky Guardians? They are nothing but insects, a minor nuisance to be crushed beneath my heel.
The city lights blurred beneath them as Kavran and Maya pushed their jets to the limit. The sounds of battle faded into the background, replaced by the frantic static of their comms. Liam's voice, usually calm and collected, was tight with urgency and fear.
Kavran, there's been a development. Rohan, he was just a distraction. There's someone else here. He calls himself Harbinger.
Kavran's blood ran cold. Harbinger. The name sent a shiver down his spine. He had heard whispers of this mysterious figure, rumors whispered in hushed tones in the darkest corners of the intelligence community. A shadowy mastermind, pulling strings from the shadows. His true motives a mystery.
What does he want? He said Rohan was just a pawn, that this is bigger than all of us. He talked about reshaping the world.
Reshaping the world. The words hung in the air, heavy with ominous implication. Kavran knew with a sickening certainty that this was not an idle boast. Harbinger was a player on a whole other level. His ambitions were not limited to a single city, a single country, or even a single planet.
We need to stop him, Liam. Can you buy us any time? I'm doing everything I can, but he's on to me. I don't know how much longer I can hold him off. Hold on, Liam. We're coming for you.
Kavran banked his jet sharply, the cityscape tilting beneath him. He could feel the G-forces pulling at him, threatening to rip him from his seat. But he pushed the limits, his focus narrowing to a laser point. They had to get back to Liam, back to the plane. It was their only chance.
I've managed to create a backdoor into the missile's guidance system. If you can get me to a secure terminal, I might be able to override the detonation sequence. We're on our way. Just hold on.
As they fought their way back through the city, dodging falling debris and exchanging fire with Rohan's remaining forces, Kavran couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into a trap. Harbinger had planned for this. He had anticipated their every move. They reached the hangar just in time to see Liam stumble out of the cargo hold, clutching a data drive in his hand. He was battered and bruised, but alive. Behind him, the plane exploded in a blinding flash of light and heat. The shockwave knocked them off their feet, sending them sprawling across the tarmac. As the dust settled, Kavran staggered to his feet, his ears ringing, his vision blurry. He saw Maya nearby, slowly getting up, her face streaked with grime and determination. Liam was slumped against a nearby crate, clutching the data drive like it was his lifeline.
Liam, are you all right? What happened? He let me go. Said it was all part of his plan.
A cold dread settled in Kavran's gut. Harbinger had wanted this. He had wanted them to have the data drive, but why?
This isn't over. This is just the beginning.
He looked at his team, at the exhaustion etched on their faces, at the fire that still burned in their eyes. They had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. But they had also glimpsed a darkness, a threat unlike any they had ever encountered. The battle for the city might be over, but the war had just begun.